to do its recording. It is showing the red light. The recording has started. It says I just need to let you know for privacy reasons.
You need
we are
my
recording.
Consent. Yeah.
100%.
We back up and running, checking all the angles with Pyps.
Yeah, number 6, bro. It's been a while, hey? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I think our last one actually was November, 23rd of November last year.
That is very possible. SA versus Ireland.
Yeah, no, because we had to cover that game, remember?
It was, yeah.
Crossing
it was a pretty average performance back then. But new year, new things. I'm hoping.
It's a World Cup year.
That it is, bro. And we know what happened in the last World Cup cycle in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the boys can back that up again.
I personally think we're going to. I'm actually just getting the start date here for the Rugby World Cup. So the first game is France, New Zealand as the first game. Oh my God. That is going to be unreal.
That's quite a way to open it up, eh? It's quite a way to open it up.
Especially because we play them on the 25th of August, and I think we can put a few dents into New Zealand because we're playing them at Twickenham. Going to that game, I'm sure if you look at previous episodes, you all know that already. Very amped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be 21st. Yeah, it's like 8 weeks time.
That's good. It's going to be a cruncher, that is. Interesting that we actually playing them so close to the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're being honest, it's the quarterfinals this year's World Cup will definitely be spicy. Whoever goes through, I mean, you've got potentially the top 4 teams in the world going to battle it out already in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. As per Squidge gave me that update earlier today.
Yeah, I also watched all 2 Cents earlier. And he also does agree with our sentiment that he believes that, look, New Zealand are the bookies' favourites to take the championship, but he also thinks that we're going to do the World Cup repeat in the championship. So let's see if we can back that up and actually take one again. Even though it's shortened, at least we're playing 2 home games, which is also a bonus. Yeah, it's us in Argentina, Australia.
Yeah, the fixtures now. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen there.
That's the fixtures for those, because they're very shortened.
Only 1 fixture each. Yeah. So we've got 2 home games. And
both at altitude.
Yeah. Correct. So I see those additional fixtures. Those are just after the championship. They're not going to count. We are playing one more round of fixtures after that, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, so we're only playing Argentina twice, and then we've got New Zealand on the 25th of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's good warm-ups, definitely.
Yeah. Out of the 3 games, they're playing Australia and New Zealand at Melbourne Cricket Ground. That's going to be huge.
That's going to be a belter. That's going to be a belter. I'm very keen to see what Eddie Jones will be able to do with that Australian side in the small amount of time he has. I was very surprised, to be honest, that they let Dave Rennie go. Yeah, from the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised with that. But yeah, we'll see what old Eddie Jones has. Also, while listening to all the 2 Cents there, he also did mention, which I also do believe, is that first game Australia might come out with a bit of a bang, but they're still not going to be fully into their systems. they're probably going to have their best game of the championship against New Zealand at the MCG, seeing as that's their third game. I think by then they should be pretty well drilled. Well, they will be well drilled now as well. I really think it'll be a interesting fixture toss-up that. And I mean, we're seeing some different venues coming into play, because I mean, if we look, we're playing New Zealand at, what's it called, Mount something?
Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland.
Mount Smart Stadium.
I mean, see,
I
what's the
think
capacity of that?
I think New Zealand have only played one test there against Tonga, and they absolutely destroyed them. But other than that, I don't think they've really played big matches there.
I'm looking it up now. What do you think the capacity is for Mount Smart? Oh, it's very small. It's got
15.
1.5 grandstands. I don't even think it's got. I don't even think it's got. Did you say 15 or 50?
15.
Oh, Sherbet. Look at that. 30,000.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's a nice hostile environment, definitely.
Yeah, it's not a cauldron of like Dunedin or something, but it'll give the guys a bit of conditioning. That's what we want.
Look, it's not Eden Park, that is for sure. But look, talking about cauldrons, I mean, that's what Australia will be stepping into. That's capacity Loftus Versfeld, 51,762 Bach fans are going to be crammed in there. I will be honest, I have previously said this definitely, but that is the most hostile crowd you will face in South Africa. Hands down. It's yeah, it's scary if you are the opponent going to Loftus. Talking out of a Sharks perspective, only watched one match there against the Bulls, and it was intimidating as hell. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine if you're going as an international team, the absolute ferocity that awaits you when walking into that stadium. And another thing about Loftus, altitude. We all know that. And I love above the Loftus, as you walk out, there's a sign that says altitude matters, on something to that tune, which I think is quite funny. Just a little reminder. And yeah, look, I'll quickly hoist some stats here as well.
Give us the
At
stats.
Loftus, we faced Australia 7 times previously. We've won all 7. The last meeting being in 2016, where we won 18-10. So we haven't lost against Australia at Loftus previously. All-time record for South Africa and Australia, 92 meetings. South Africa winning 49, Australia 40, 3 draws. Our last meeting with Australia was back last year, where we won 24-8 after losing the previous match.
That
In
was
South
a
Africa,
game. That was the game. We lost the previous match in Australia where Faf flicked Nick Groom's nose and he went down like a footballer.
pretty much, yes. Was a look. I think there were some Oscars won for that. Definitely, it was quite the act. But yeah, old Nick White, what a
Nick
character.
White.
Yeah, old Nick White. Then in South Africa, we've played 47 times. South Africa have won 36, only lost 10, 1 draw. Then the stat that isn't nice to look at is the last 5 meetings between the teams. We've only won once. Australia have won 4. Luckily,
No way.
that is correct, my good sir. So, and luckily it was the last game against Australia that we did win. So trying to get that record straight again. which is actually quite interesting. Oh yeah, there you go. Look, I mean, it must have hurt. It must have hurt. I mean, if you go, if you go down like that, I mean, Faf probably didn't cut his nails or something. I don't know. Look, Nick White really felt the brunt of that. The
Again,
fact
I
that
think
that was a yellow.
the slow-mos. Check at him getting his chest held there.
Look, I mean, he probably also. I mean, he probably had a few moustache hairs there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, talking as someone with beards as well, I do understand the pain. I mean, yeah, the less said about that, the better, I think. That was quite a hilarious
Drama.
moment. But anyway, hopefully we won't see anything like that again. But yeah, look, we've got Ben O'Keefe as our match official referee, with the assistant refs Paul Williams, both New Zealanders, and then Andrea Piardi from Italy.
I like Ben
And as a
O'Keefe.
TMO,
Yeah.
I don't have any issues. Ben O'Keefe is very consistent with his decisions. TMO, we've got Brendan Pickerel, also New Zealand. I think it's a good bunch of guys they've got together there. I don't think I don't hope that refs become a chatting point again this year. I don't think up
Yes.
until now there has been too many contentious decisions in the Six Nations, for instance. I didn't see too many issues there. I haven't really seen too many issues in the URC. I haven't seen too many issues in the Super Rugby Pacifica.
Yeah.
So I
That's actually
think
a great
everyone.
That's a great point that you bring up there. I think in for 2023, hopefully this is the year where referees go out of the spotlight, because 2022, even 2021,
2022 was
there's just far too much. We were talking about them far too much, and that's not
100%.
what we should be
100%.
doing.
Look, I think the players have adjusted to the laws and all of that as well. I think the head knocks nowadays is also being accepted. I was watching some of the Craven Week earlier on. I mean, where you can just see the refs also taking I won't say a lenient approach, but if you see a player slipping down or sliding or having a slip or whatever, and there's head contact, it isn't any silly yellow cards and things like that. It's just a penalty. Go on. Can't prevent that. Those are still things that, unfortunately, this being a contact sport,
Yeah.
you're not going to get that out of the game completely. But the intent of everyone has changed, and I think it's being marshaled and policed a lot better than previous occasions, if you want to call it that. So, I mean, in terms of refereeing, like I mentioned, I haven't seen any howlers, too many howlers or anything like that. So I think it's normally a cycle. It's normally a year or two after the World Cup, there's big chats and a few things, and then it always dies down before the World Cup, and we don't really see too many issues in the World Cup as well. If we take 2019, I can't remember of any massive decisions that changed outcomes of games or anything like
Yeah.
that. So
That's good.
let's hope the Ragas does the talking, eh?
Absolutely. I actually forgot to address you earlier. I should have greeted you and said, "Hello, world champion." We're forgetting
Well,
that.
look, we've got a few more months to milk it,
Yeah.
and then hopefully we will see. Look, I'm excited for the World Cup. It's in France again this year, and we know what happened last time we were in France as well.
Yeah.
Actually found this old beauty there earlier on with
Nice.
all of the teams that participated in 2007.
Yeah.
Quite a nice little memento. I just thought I'd bring that out just as a little reminder. Look, it's definitely not the same as back in 2007, where we actually did, I think, go in as pretty much almost the favorites along with New Zealand. I feel this year it's a lot different. I think France and Ireland have big ambition,
Yeah,
as the Northern Hemisphere
for sure.
teams all will have. I mean, this is probably the first time where one of the Northern Hemisphere teams, well, two of them actually go in as probably favorites. And then we've got New Zealand and ourselves as well. Also, the top four ranked teams in the world. So, like I said, if we get through with Ireland, no disrespect to Scotland at all. I think they are a
Yeah,
great football rugby team at the moment.
yeah,
They really have grown quite a lot. But I mean, that's in all fairness, if all goes according to the bookies and all of that, I mean, it'll be the top four teams in the one side of the quarterfinals, which will
yeah.
be explosive, to say the
I
least.
think on that note, and just before we move on, one of my points here was lots of European noise, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
rightfully so. But if we look at both the French and the Irish fixture last year, in the French game, we lost Peter Steff to that strange red card early on, and
Yeah.
we adapted well, and I think we lost within
Was it within a
converted
3-point
try.
margin?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
within a converted try that we lost, and I think France is probably the only game last year where I'd say we were outplayed to for the majority of the game. However,
Well, taking into account we played with 14 guys for 70 minutes of that game.
was that
Um,
France? I mean,
that was against Ireland. Was the one game where I just feel we didn't click at all.
I'm
It
talking
was a
about
very
Ireland. Sorry.
helter-skelter game.
Yeah, I was talking about
Yeah,
Ireland. So
yeah.
France, we got the red card, and then Ireland. I think I said France instead of Ireland. Ireland, yes, I agree with you. There was the one game last year where maybe as players we also were like the players themselves might have just been too up for it, and they knew that it was like the cherry on top of their year, and a bit frantic in the way they went about it.
Yeah. For
But I'm
sure,
just
for
I'm
sure.
looking at the World Cup fixtures now, and I'm just going to share it with you so we can go through it a little bit. But if we look at the fixtures, I mean, you go down here. Let's start off the remind. I mean, our pool. Whoever's going to leave our pool needs to know that the forward pack is going to have to do the business. It's going to be a forward heavy group, and
Look,
I think that plays to our
100%.
strengths.
Look, it does. It does. We we definitely in the pool of death, as it's been called. There's always one every World Cup cycle. I mean, we've got Ireland, Scotland, Romania,
Romania.
who have also improved in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And then who was the other team now?
Tonga.
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 Oh my gosh. Look, I spoke to you about this last year at a stage with the new eligibility rules. Tonga,
Yeah.
oh, I'll tell you something for free. Tonga, if they get their forwards right, they have got a deadly backline. There are so many ex-New Zealand and Australian players that they can choose from for that team.
Yeah.
Barring, I mean, their own players that have been playing as well. They've always had a potent backline. It's just the
Yeah.
forwards that are normally the issue, setting the base. So if they get that right, I mean, we don't have one easy fixture in our group. Like I said, Romania aren't the pushovers that they were known for being in previous World Cups. They are definitely upping their game, and old Squidgy did a video on them quite recently,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
But
I mean, you can see
within the
that.
last month,
It's
yes. While you're on
So
him, I think, and based on the pool and our route to the final, it was interesting. Look, we want to win. That's a given. We want to be world champions. I'm sure the players want to be world champions. But it was interesting to hear him say, could we be the kingmakers of the tournament? Not in a sense that whoever beats us will go and win the World Cup, but in a reverse sense that whoever beats us will have so much taken out of them that if you don't play us, it's almost, and this sounds very boastful as a South African, but if you don't play us, you've got that bit more freshness, especially in your forward pack. Something to consider.
look, understand, but I will straight up say our side of the draw is going to be an absolute firecracker. Look, quarterfinals, semifinals is going to be it's going to be absolute gold. I mean, it's look, if you win the World Cup from this side of the draw, you would have fully deserved it. There won't
Yeah.
be any easy games or easy routes, as has previously been said about some World Cups and things like that. Look, I still feel it's a World Cup. There isn't easy games.
No.
That's not how it works. You take anyone for granted with your own peril. So I mean, that's my feeling. But the other side of the draw is definitely an easier route, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it's going to be. Look, there hasn't been an open World Cup like this in years.
No,
There
not
is
at all.
at least there's at least 7 teams that can 7, 8 teams even that can take this. Look, and right off Wales at your own peril also. They have
Yeah.
had a shocking last few seasons, but the Warren Gatlin effect will kick in this year again. It happens every single time. They're in trouble, they get him back. He
I
sorts
don't
them
I
out.
don't I don't think so. I don't think so. I've heard a lot of reports come out of Wales saying that uh, their feeder systems are a bit off. There's a lot of internal frustrations. There's no cohesion. So, and that's quite close. I mean, Wales is up the road from me, and I've got colleagues that live in Wales, and it just seems like the Welsh Rugby Union, WRU, are
Look,
a bit at sea.
they are definitely. No, definitely. I've heard also some stories with contracts and things like that where players haven't been paid, things like that. I don't want to go into any detail on that because I don't know enough. But if we look at the young centre, I'm trying to Hawkins, I think it is Justin Hawkins,
Jamie
who was
Hawkins.
pretty much this. No, I think it was Justin Hawkins. I think the inside centre. So he had a phenomenal season last year. He was one. He was probably the standout player for Wales in a torrid season. And my understanding is that he has gone to a English club, and he is now not eligible to play for Wales in the World Cup, which is, I feel, ridiculous. If that comes to fruition, I mean, that would just be shooting themselves in the foot, pretty much. But yeah, it's definitely going to be open. But we all know it is a known fact.
Joe
Defensive
Hawkins.
Joe Hawkins. Okay. So we
Yeah.
all know defenses wins titles. We saw it in the Super Rugby Pacific. Look, the Chiefs have been on fire the whole year. Came against the Crusaders in the final. It was an absolute belter of a match. The Crusaders took it 26 points to 20, and they only beat the Chiefs because their defensive effort was outstanding. That's the only way to nullify your opponent is by tackling them back,
Yeah.
disrupting their ball, making their ball slow, and just it's 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 an it's one of those things. It's an age-old saying, but attacking flair, you can have
It's
individual
still the
brilliance,
test
but
of time.
the defensive effort is a team thing. I mean, you do the big hits for your
It's
teammates.
a mindset.
It's 100%. It's a mindset. That's the word I was looking for. So I mean, we'll see if this World Cup will pan out differently. I would be very surprised if it did. I know everyone is trying to play an expansive game and all of these things. We will definitely see some spectacular tries and
Yeah.
individual moments and things like that. That's a given. But I feel as a collective, whoever defends best and takes their opportunities, that's the big thing. Taking your opportunities, not getting into the strike zone and not coming back with points.
You got to take your points.
That's the big.
It's a World Cup.
Got to take your points. 100%.
Okay. Well, on that note, and just so we don't run too long tonight, because we've this is more of a warm up for the year that's upon us. And with the championship starting next weekend, let's hone in.
This weekend.
Oh
Starting
yes,
this weekend.
Yes, this weekend.
100%.
Let's hone in on the Springboks. So we've got Oz first up. And in terms of a 15, I'm just going to make a note here. 1, 2, 3. Who are we thinking as a 15?
Look, just for some background as well, we did it in the previous World Cup year as well in the championship. We made 2 squads.
Yeah.
And sent one to New Zealand early. We have done exactly the same this time around.
Yeah.
I know New Zealand's first game is in Argentina, so I mean, our players will already be in New Zealand. I think New Zealand might also do something quite similar and leave a few players behind, because I mean, it's a big travel from Argentina to New Zealand. And I mean, it's only a week gap between the first 2 tests, or the first round and the second round. So, yeah, it's definitely going to play a factor traveling. We always see it. And yeah, it'll be interesting. So in terms of what the predicted 15 is, because the actual 15 or 23 will only be announced tomorrow. So I think we both have the same team there, that they are thinking, or what they have been pondering about.
Yeah, it looks like from the source I have in front of me, it looks like it's quite a nice mix. Obviously,
yeah,
with Pollard injured, it raises questions about what is our backup when it comes to 10. And I mean, Marnie, he's showing glimpses, and I like his flair, but I think he is to the Springboks what Alton Jantjies is. Like, he is the flair. He is us modernizing our game. But does it galvanize the Springboks and their game plan? That's what I'm saying.
Look, he will be given a license to read the game, but there's set structures. Look, we saw what he could do in a Bok jersey. I mean, played a phenomenal game against England at the end of year tour last year. He was high on confidence after the URC last year and all of that as well. I mean, we belted England on Twickenham last year at the end of year tour, and I know he was on the field quite early. I can't remember why. I can't remember if there was an injury or whatever, but he was on the field from quite early on, and he had a solid game. Look, I don't know if you watched the URC at all this year.
I wasn't able to watch much.
So we had the Stormers in the final again, up against Munster. All credit where credit is due. Munster played fantastically well. But yeah, Marnie had a bit of a stinker in the final. But I mean, that happens. Sometimes it happens in finals and things like that. Look, BMT is a big thing, big match temperament. We know Andre Pollard has that in stacks. But it's good, I think, for these guys now as well. Look, I still feel your big international games will feel bigger than your club competition finals, I think. At the end of the day, you're playing for your country, which is such an honor. It'll definitely add a bit more than your club game. Look, with the Stormers being defending champs as well, they did it. They had their opportunities to win that game that they couldn't take. But I mean, he was man of the match in the semi-final and the quarterfinals. So it's not that he didn't
just tried a bit.
Play well in the big games. It was just the final was just one of those games.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much of Marnie, so I hope he does well. I've heard good things, but I think the last I've heard of him was the URC final, and I think either we spoke or I spoke to someone else, and he didn't do a good showing of himself. But it's one of those things. So should we start
like I mentioned,
should we start on who we think is going to, and let's try to do it in groups of 3 maybe. So in terms of outside backs, are we set on Willie Leroux, Orense, and Kanan Moody?
I think that is the predicted team at the moment. I would believe that they would have sent Cheslin and Makazole up to New Zealand, which would make sense. So look, Kurtley Orense has been a revelation. I think he's played 7 Springbok games, scored 7 tries. So we know he's an absolute deadly finisher. Also had another outstanding URC season. With Willie Leroux, you know what you're getting. He's become a bit more safe in the last year or so. Not trying to be what is not. I think look, defense will also always be a question mark. But
remember when the Argentinian was it the captain stepped Willie and made him sit down? That was hilarious.
Look, we'll wait and see, but I think he has matured a bit. His defense, look, I think he just marshals the defense a bit better now as well, getting Oaks to help him out when he can see he is in trouble. Like I said, Kurtley Orense is he's just deadly. And Kanan Moody, he's only played a few tests, but he has been showing what he can do for the Bulls, as well as in the South African jersey previously as well, scoring a beautiful debut try against Australia. Oh, jeez. I mean, look, it's a good step. I mean, no, but yeah, it is. Yeah, as a fullback, you don't want to see that too often. I'm pretty sure of that. One thing that I'm quite surprised at is the potential centers that we're going to have for this match, because it looks like we've got Andre Esterhuizen and Lucanio. So
that do you have in your report?
Correct.
Yeah, I've got the same. Sorry, I was on another one. Yeah.
So that would indicate that they would have sent or will send Damien Dialenda and
Kriel.
Jesse Kriel to New Zealand. Look, we know with Jesse.
Do you think that obviously we know Damien and Lucanio have a working relationship. Do you think they're just trying out combos there? Is it just a case of, because I think what you get with Damien, you get kind of with Esterhuizen, and what you get with you get kind of with Kriel. So I would say
don't kind of get what you get with you don't kind of get with Kriel. With Kriel, you get a solid defensive game, and you get big hits. Look, we've said this previously. He had so much flair. I don't know if he has changed something or whatever, but in terms of flair on the outside center, has got that in stacks. I mean, before his injury last year, he was absolutely on fire. It's interesting for me that it's interesting in a way, but also not. I think they've what they're doing is they're putting one of the established centers with one of the fringe centers just
Yeah.
to give them a run, because if we have an injury or whatever, that will probably be how they would line up. So to me, it makes all the sense in the world. Like you mentioned previously, I mean, and Dialenda, they know what they have in each other. They've played enough tests together. That combination will flourish. So I think they are definitely trying out to see what the different combinations can do. Should be interesting. I think it'll be interesting. I enjoy Andre Esterhuizen. I think he's a big hitting inside center, as most of the South African inside centers have always been. I think he has adapted his game though since going to Harlequins, playing with Marcus Smith, and that I think he has brought a more attacking side to his game as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he combines with as well. I'm looking forward to seeing that if this is the team. It will be a nice combination to see what they can do together as a pairing as well.
I agree. I'm just actually, I mean, this won't be the first time I brought it up, but I'm just looking at Jan Serfontein, some highlights of him here, and how he has just stayed in Europe, not getting any callbacks, nothing. I don't understand. I thought he was going to be a bloody good number 12 for us.
Yeah, old Jan, look, I think that is one talent that
I think we just missed out on him.
Yeah, look, we're very lucky in the sense that we have players like Dialenda and even Esterhuizen as well. I mean, we've got solid centers. That's the thing. We have solid centers. The one position that has been contentious for a while has been the outside center. If injured, like we mentioned with Krill, you know what you're getting. You're getting a stable player he won't make too many mistakes. He'll do the basics, and it's a safe option to have. But yeah, we'll see.
You know that
With Jan, unfortunately, I mean, he has missed out. I think his
he's
prime
missed
will
out on a career.
probably.
I think so.
Well, I mean, he's doing well overseas, so kudos to him for that.
Take
It's
a
the
guess
same
how
with
many.
it's.
Take a guess how many South African caps he got.
Jan Serfontein, probably 20.
35.
35. Okay, well. Geez, so he
So
was
between
actually.
2013 and 2017, he must have been probably it's quite a while back now, but he must have been our star. He must have owned that center berth. 35 caps over 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, look, he was a phenomenal talent that I cannot deny. It's the same with Ruan Janse van Rensburg, who's come back to the Sharks this season. He hasn't had a terrible season at all. I think he's settled in quite nicely. We'll see if he can also somehow worm his way back into Springbok contention, but that will only be post this World Cup, I believe. But yeah, that's a nice little center debate we had there.
Yeah. So
I
to
think
10,
then. So it looks like
let's do
it will be
halfbacks.
Marnie.
Let's do halfbacks. I've got
Halfback.
your
Oh,
Kobus
yeah,
Reinhoff, funny enough, and Mani.
that is correct.
We're reading from the same hymn sheet, as I say.
It must be. It must be. Look, I think Damian Willemse will probably play against New Zealand at fly half because we know he can.
And
And
I think
then
defensive qualities, I would say Damien probably just has the edge on Mani, just because I think he's also got a bit more of that size, so he commands his channel a bit more.
Yeah, goal kicking Marnie will have the edge. Marnie can also kick off both feet, ambidextrous. So
nice.
he can kick off the left or the right boot. I know even going for touch, he kicks off his left boot if he has to. Or if he's going for touch off a penalty, he'll kick off his left boot if he's on that side of the field. which is quite interesting. You don't see that too often nowadays. But yeah, I mean, Kobus Reinach, you know what you're getting. That guy has got gas, he's got vision, he's got X factor, he's got heart,
Yeah.
he's got an engine, he's got a box kick, he's very solid scrum half. I mean, I'm just glad to see he's still in the mix, but I'm pretty sure this might be his last swan song with the Bok team.
I was going to say, it's a swan song. While we're on the topic of 9, can we just appreciate the rise and fall of Herschel Jantjies? He shot up. He was my honest. He rivaled Fuff for a little while in my books, just purely because he had that X factor. He was young. He looked like he could bulk up a little bit and become the next Fuff. But I mean, did it go to his head? What happened?
I don't think so. I think, look, when he burst onto the scene, he was very unknown. It's the same with most of your superstars. You burst onto the scene, Oaks see what you do, they start learning your game, and they nullify your strengths. That's what any good team will do. He's been playing quite solidly in the URC as well. So, I mean, he's still a solid halfback. You don't have any issues with him. It's just I feel that
I like what I see more from Jaden Hendrickson nowadays. I think he's more composed.
It's the same thing with Jaden, though. He's also burst onto the scene pretty much last year, the end of 2021. At some stage, he'll also have to adapt and just see. But I think the thing with Herschel is he might have become a bit slower at the breakdowns, but that's what I just don't understand. Or I do understand, because at the Stormers, his ball, not retention, what's that word? Die balverspreiding.
Distribution.
His distribution. So his distribution at the Stormers is quick, because the Stormers have quick ruck speed and they like to give the ball air. And there he plays, it looks seamless. So I think it's also, you have to get used to the system that the Boks play at the end of the day. And I feel that his box kick is a bit wanting.
True. Maybe
I think that's
when he burst onto the scene, that was around 2016, 2017.
No, I would say it was 2018 when Rassie took over, pretty much.
But he played his best rugby before we had this game plan that we've been implementing over the last 4 or 5 years, when it was a little bit looser, when the structure wasn't in place. So that's why we got this this chat, because there's nuances to this that I think you're good at highlighting. And yeah, maybe his box kick lets him down a bit, and where others are better at doing it, they become better scrum halves with our game plan.
100%. Look, we do like our scrum halves to have X factor. I mean, that's what made Herschel very good at 2018, 2019 level. Those snapping breaks around the rucks and things like that. But I mean, you don't see our scrum halves doing that too often nowadays. If you look at the South African setup, I mean, you'll see Fuff try maybe once, twice a game. Jaden, same story. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that snapping burst down the blind or anything like that. We don't see that too often anymore. It's something that I hope we do have in our back pocket. And I know with the quality of scrum halves we have, it's definitely something that we have in our back pocket. But it's just, can we start exploiting that? Have we been hiding that? We don't know. We don't know.
We don't.
But it'll be interesting. But I mean, yeah, look, Jaden has been good. Faf has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Kobus Reinach is a phenomenal rugby player as well. So in terms of that, I mean, we've got 5 quality scrum halves that we need to choose from. We've also got Grant Williams, who's also in the Springbok fold now, who had an absolute cracker of his URC for the Sharks. I think he was the Sharks' leading try scorer. He also made it into the URC Team of the Year, if I'm not mistaken.
Impressive.
So we've got some hard decisions to make at scrum half. We'll see what decisions will be taken by the World Cup. But for now, I know all 5 of them are in this extended squad. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who actually sits on the bench for this test against Australia, because that's actually the info that we don't see on these hymns sheets, as you call them.
Okay. Well, let's dive into the loosies now. So I reckon, speaking of hymn sheets, I'll probably read Dwayne at 8, Peter, Steph, and Marco.
That is
Now,
correct.
Dwayne, I don't think he's going to be our starting 8 at the World Cup. I think it's definitely going to be Jasper. I think Dwayne's going to take on the Skulk Brits role at this year's World Cup.
Yeah.
I like that Peter Steph is getting a start. Whether this means, I mean, yes, 2022 wasn't his best year he's ever played in a bulk jersey, but I would still put him down at 7 every day of the week. And
Look,
Marcus Stardon's a surprise for me.
Look, just going on Dwayne, yeah, I agree with that. I think he'll be the Francois Steyn / Skulk Brits of this World Cup. I think he also knows that his golden years are probably behind him. In saying that, he still offers a lot. I mean, he's got loads of experience. He knows how to organize a defense.
Leadership.
He will still give you 110%. He will smash oaks. He will run into brick walls if he has to. That's just Dwayne. Peter Steph, yeah, look, we went at him quite hard last year. Just looking back, he didn't have a fantastic 2022. He did come back from a big injury, and we do know that it takes time. It takes time with these big injuries to come back and actually get back to your best. I did mention to you somewhere in the past few months that he was actually in the Team of the Year for the Japanese Pro League, or whatever it's called.
We spoke last week, I think.
Yeah, so he was actually in the Team of the Year there, alongside Kwacha, I think it was, and Malcolm, and a few other box. So it looks like he might be regaining some form. Let's see what he has. If he still has that engine that can go and go and go, it'll be interesting to see. And then all the Eskom, old Marco van Staden. Look, sit jou ligte af. That's just because of the ferocity that he tackles with and hits rucks and things. I've always enjoyed his style of play. No nonsense, abrasive figure. And it'll be interesting to see if he gets a full opportunity at 6, what he can do. He's also been playing some good rugby this season in the URC for the Bulls. So yeah, I'm excited about that loose trio. Very much experience with a bit of I won't say inexperience. Van Staden's also been around for a while now. So let's see if he can come of age and perform to the levels that we know he is capable of. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Now moving on to the lock pairing, one that we've never seen take the field before, at least based on my sources, is Archie Snyman. So happy he's returning, and Jean Klein. Now I've got to just do a little bit of read.
John Klein would also probably now be called John Klein, coming back to South Africa. So he played for Ireland, South African born, played in South Africa, went overseas, played for the Irish provinces, got the call up, played for Ireland, hasn't played for Ireland for more than 3 years.
Did he play for Ireland? Ireland
the
International?
Yeah, 100%, bro. He's got quite a few caps for Ireland. So he is eligible for South African selection now with the new eligibility rules. So yeah, hence why I'm saying it won't be John Klein when he gets to Pretoria. It will be John Klein.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see. He's playing with his lock partner from Munster, RG Snyman. So
brilliant.
I mean, they know each other. That's a lock combination that knows each other. It's been tried. It's won the URC. So I'm quite excited to see that. I'll be very honest. Uh, RG Snyman has been
I'm
out
watching
with
some.
injuries and all of that. So to see him back in a Bok jersey is going to be exciting. I mean, he took the world by storm as a member of the bomb squad, just
Yeah,
rampaging,
yeah,
rollicking through. Doesn't have the long hair anymore. He's gone for a bit more of
short back
a
and
conservative
sides.
look. Yeah, exactly. So, look, I don't think the game is in the hair though. He's an absolute marauding lock with great speed, great hands, bulk, everything you're looking for.
Yeah,
We're so blessed in South Africa with locks, though. So, I mean, I'm just very excited to see him back in the fold.
yeah, I agree. Sorry, I just wanted to get an understanding of Sean Klein, and I'm just watching a few highlights here. Enjoys a carry. He's probably not your typical South African lock, although this was a few years ago. He seems to be more in the Victor Matfield, Albert van der Berg build,
100%
Andries Becker
correct.
build.
Correct. Correct. More of a John Drake Krier type player.
Yeah, not your enforcer lock. He's definitely more of
No,
a
he's your classic number 5 lock. That's why you have a Orpheus Snyman at 4.
yeah. And like they've done it there it was quite smartly so. So yeah, I look forward to seeing
Look,
him.
still in the prime of his career, 29 years old, 2.03 meters. Went to Hoërskool Linden. A little bit of background there for you. 121 kgs, that's big. Went to UC Stellies. So, just in terms of appearances, played for this Western Province, got 24 caps there. Storm is about 18. Then he went to Munster, where he's been from 2016. He's got 136 appearances for Munster.
Sure,
Played
that's a
for
lot.
Ireland. Played for Ireland 5 times. Last time was in 2019. Hence, he is able to switch with not playing for Ireland for 3 years. So, look, I mean, let's see what he brings to the table. Never mind seeing guys returning from overseas after enhancing their craft there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I do not know if Ruan Nokia is in the squad. I would be very disappointed if they did bring in John Klein above Ruan Nokia because I feel that Nokia does deserve a good
A
shot
burst.
at that, yeah, at that number 5 jersey when the time comes. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to this locking combination. I'll be honest. It's going to feel a bit like a Bucky's and Victor
It does
combo.
have that fold, yeah.
So yeah, let's see what happens there. Let's see what happens.
Okay, and I wish them well as a lock myself. I know all about it, so I wish them well. And then moving on to our front three. Mine, or from what I see, is France at 3, Bongi at 2, and Ox at 1.
Exciting. That is a very very strong front row. Lots of experience with a bit of flair from Oxen Chair. He's shown what he's capable of. Scrummaging powerhouse. Bongi is a absolute machine at hooker. Frans Malherbe, old Buffel, the man made from brandy and coke and braaivleis. I mean, he is as stable as they get on the tight head side. I mean, that is a very strong front row, which would indicate that Kitshoff, Marks, and in all probability either Thomas du Toit, Vincent Koch, or I'm not sure who the other tight head is, Trevor Nyukane will be going to New Zealand. Again, we've got so much depth in these positions. I think they will probably have Joseph Dweba on the bench for this one. I know they have. No, sorry. No,
what do you
that was
think?
the Sharks.
What do you think Frans Malherbe weighs?
Frans Malherbe is probably 125.
Bingo, you know your props. So
that's my position.
Here's a shot for you. Do you think Frans Malherbe is the modern day Ollie LaRue? I looked at a picture of him now, and he looks like I mean, could you picture Frans Malherbe sitting in a spur eating a steak, or was it Dross or Spur that Ollie used to do? You know, he used to do those. He used to do those steak adverts with his like sparky hair and stuff.
So look, Frans Malherbe is very mobile, which people don't realize is he works so hard in the tight phases, hitting rucks, hitting tackles. He is a big ball carrier as well. He's not as mobile in his carries, I would say. Ollie LaRue was very mobile in his carries. I'm pretty sure if you type in there Ollie LaRue insane tries, you will see some absolute gold. I cannot remember the year. I cannot remember if it was for the Cheetahs or the Boks, but I know he scored an absolute screamer in his day. I don't see France doing that. France will be busting it up in the tight, just working hard for the team, doing his job, which is scrummaging and lineouts to a T. I mean, he is just the personification of solid. He does exactly what you want him to do, anchors one end of the scrum, and just absolutely minces it. Oh, is this for the Sharks? Oh, doing a bit of a conversion there. Surely not. Wow. Okay, well, he could kick goal as well.
Did you notice how the ball fell off the tee as he kicked it? Watch out. Did you see the ball fall?
Look, it's sometimes it doesn't fall your way. There it did. Just showing that the front rankers also can do the goal kicking if needs be. Beautiful strike.
Check Andre Dubé in the background. Check him in the background. He's like, Ollie gets the kick before me.
Yeah, look, Yuba wasn't I think too amped for Ollie to kick that, but I mean, if you sink it, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
One thing that I want to let's wrap up the SA team, and then I'm going to end off our video here tonight with something stunning. But cool. Yeah, getting back to the Springbok team, your closing thoughts?
Look, I think it's a solid mix of youth experience. I like it. We are without Andre Pollard for the Rugby Championship, so we're going to see some guys having to put up their hands.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see the Eddie Jones effect. It'll be interesting to see if the Australians can cope with the altitude. I would say, look, conservative, box probably by 7. I think it'll still be a tight game. Eddie will come with some of his tricks as he always does. I'd also want to say that the Australian team, they've got a solid squad that they have selected. for the championship. Also a blend of youth and experience. And you can only write them off if you are clueless.
At your peril.
I mean, at your peril, they are a dangerous team. They have always been. They are definitely one of the dark horses for this World Cup as well. Um, but hopefully it'll take them more than one game to click into gear. I mean, our team is very settled at the moment. Even with these changes, it's not an unsettled side, if I can call it that. It's guys that know each other, that have played together before. I think what we've done well in this 4 year cycle is we've blooded in quite a lot of new blood, and the guys have definitely put up their hands, shown that they can perform at the highest level. So I'm very excited. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think we might see some more running than we used to at probably from the 60th minute onwards, when the lungs start to burn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a nice championship. Hopefully, as I mentioned, predicting the box also hopefully as number one. Yeah, and then just a little shout out of New Zealand, Argentina. Went at Mendoza.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Argentina has now won New Zealand in New Zealand and in Australia, but never on Argentinian soil. Could we see a little upset there? I don't know. I don't think so. But if there's a time to do it, now is the time for them. But I mean, I know New Zealand are resting quite a lot of their Crusaders players after winning
Chiefs,
the
probably.
Pacifica. Probably a few Chiefs as well. I think they might be trying to play Damian McKenzie at fly half for that one, which will be electrifying. I know he's had an absolute belt of a season for the Chiefs. Richie Mo'unga is just Richie Mo'unga. He is pure class. But I know he won't be part of that first match day squad. So let's see. I'm looking forward to a great championship. It's always exciting when the Southern Hemisphere's giants clash. So let's see what the rugby gods have in store for us.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. My only thoughts are, I think we have gone for a bit of a mixed team this weekend against Oz. I think the 12-13 the center pairing is going to be interesting to watch. I'm an Esterhazen. I don't know how much football or rugby they've played together.
A lot. They both played at the Sharks as well, so they know each other. They know
this season,
going.
because Esterhazen, am I right? This season, Esterhazen came back to the Sharks.
No, that was Ruan Janse for Rensburg, but before Esterhazen went overseas, him and were the Sharks centre pairing. So they've known each other a long time. I'm not too stressed about them linking up. I think
this is why it's good to have you as a ex or a co-pundit, because you can kind of keep me on the straight and narrow. I actually completely forgot about it. Yes, they were center pairing. Was that pre-COVID?
That was pre-COVID, correct? Yeah, look, it's been a while.
So the whole world stopped and restarted, so it doesn't even count.
Look, they have played a few games together at the box previously as well, so I'm not stressed about that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. It's going to be a belter, I think, this weekend. I'm not going to lie. Especially in front of a passionate Loftus crowd. I'm looking forward to the anthem. It's always an absolute crackerjack at Loftus, just to hear the people belting out the anthem. It's I mean, it's goosebumps all the way. So yeah, like I said, I'm very, very excited. It's so exciting that international rugby is
It's
returning.
back.
And what a year we have ahead. What a year we have ahead.
Okay, so kickoff time for those interested is 5:05 SA time. Okay, so for our loyal viewers. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to the game. I'm probably going to, if I'm being honest, I'm going to have to probably watch the highlights. I've got a cricket match during that time. So
that
it's
is
terrible.
absolutely disgraceful.
It is
That is
disgraceful.
absolutely disgraceful. Look, if you're batting, just leave one straight delivery. Just leave one. Let it go through the gate. Just give the bowler a thumbs up and just pluck the phone out and stream that.
Offline, I'll tell you why I can't do that. But yeah, just to round off today's wonderful return, let's treat everyone to this.
This better be good. I've been waiting the last 20 minutes to see this now. No pressure at all.
I remember I was a kid and I watched this, and I think Chiefs Waratahs were like down by 10 points.
Look, as long as you don't show me the 2007 Super Rugby final, I'm fine.
Check, he hit it over, and his mates were like, "Why did you do that?"
Well, I can't see.
Oh no! Was I shooting that whole thing to myself?
Are you just enjoying this for yourself now? Yeah. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible.
Let's go again. Oh. Check how pixelated the screen
nice
is. Not
break.
HD.
No, that's back in the day.
Oh, let's have a crack.
Surely not. Oh, that was older. What's his name?
Matt Dunning.
Matt Dunning. There we go.
Check it in this.
He couldn't believe it.
They were
No,
9
well,
points
they're
down.
trailing.
They're 9
trailing,
points
but
down.
you can't believe it. Look, I mean, kudos. That is the perfect drop goal. Look at that. I don't know why he's disappointed with that. I mean, he probably just couldn't.
They were 9
but he
points
couldn't.
down, and there's like 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, well, now they just converted try away. So kudos there. I think that was brilliant. It's a shame. He probably just didn't hear the call with those scrum caps back in the day. Looks like a tight fit.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I think we're going to call it there for this evening. Thanks to those that tuned in. It's good to be back. We've got some plans for 2023. We want to do a whole World Cup weekly coverage. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. But short man, good to chat some SH1T with you.
100%.
And we'll see you on the other side. You're going to stop that.
Yeah, look, 100%. Look, I just want to say good to be back. Can't wait for the rest of the year. I believe we've checked all of the angles.
We've checked them all.
We've checked them all. It's been good. And let's hope that we see some great rugby this year. Shot.